Hey, what's up? I'm HypeHype. I make games, play games, and everything in between. And today we are in my favorite city in the world, New York City, specifically Brooklyn, Prospect Park. And here they have this nice Corinthian column. It's called a parish style in Brooklyn. I thought this would be a great place to just sit down and make a game. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. I am using HypeHype, a revolutionary new app that allows you to make and play games quickly, easy, and efficiently. It's really cool. All the games are called hypes. And I'm gonna try to make my first hype today in this kind of setting. We are in Brooklyn, so this place is a little hood. Hopefully I don't have to chase anybody 20 years younger than me trying to take this camera, but I don't think that'll happen today. Nobody usually messes with the dude with the beard. Where to sit down. I want to pick a corner, but the problem is the corners is where you go to pee. So I think I'll just sit down in the middle. HypeHype, it's in early access mode right now. You can make games on your phone, your laptop, or desktop browser. And for this, I bought an iPad, the latest one, M1 Pro. They didn't have the one that I wanted in Seattle. Got it now. I thought this was cool while I was trying to get it working on my phone. Now I see that it's cool while doing it on the iPad. So I'm very excited about this. Yeah, we're gonna have to see what we can make today. Gonna hotspot the phone. I'm HypeHype. Be sure to follow me as I will be putting out more content around making and playing games. The first hype we're making today is going to be a simple matching game. I am new to HypeHype. Everything I am going to be doing in the beginning is going to be super basic, just enough to get the job done. I'm not trying to make the best game ever. I'm just trying to complete a game and then make my next game a little bit better. This to me is the best mindset because learning to do something new is very difficult. What we're making today is a simple matching game. Here we can see, pick up these animals, match them to their like kind, and animals disappear. There's a confetti piece, and there's even values being tracked. Actually, I should show you that. Let's go back and go ahead and just make a new thumbnail. One thing that is good to do is to select an object and then hit play, and then it'll create a debug, and then you'll have this debug that will show you what's going on. And in this game, we can see things like the dotted line. This is what you'll see on an iPhone in portrait mode. Right now, I'm on an iPad in landscape mode because it just makes for a better video. And when we do this, we can see over here we'll get a point. See that? Each pair has 1 point, and when all the points are totaled to 8, we get a game over. Just like that. I believe I also have a leaderboard set up here. There's a logic, and then we can see all of this happening here. Now this is called spaghetti. That's the term that's used. It looks like the leaderboard is set up. Spaghetti is everywhere, and it looks complicated, but it's not that complicated because here we have the sound. This is where the sound effects come from. And you see all the animals have an attachment to the sound, and then this is where the objects get deleted. So you can see all the animals have objects to being deleted. And then this is where the point system is set up so that the pair of animals have 1 point, and there's 16 animals or 8 points, and once that is completed, game over. And when it is game over, there's also a timer, and this timer begins at the very beginning of the game, and then when it gets the game over, the time value stops, and all that goes into the leaderboard. A lot going on here, so we're going to recreate all of this today, and we're going to do this from a blank canvas. And the first thing I want to show you, what I think is the best feature and probably one of the most important, is how to copy objects from other hypes. When you find another hype or game that you like and you see an object, whatever it is, or in this case let's say this barn, the copy button below is how you can copy that object in this hype. And you can see we have another one of these, but that's not what I want. What I want is I want to copy this and put it into a new hype. So to do that, you just have to press and hold down on copy, and once it says object copied, it's now saved. Let's exit out of here. Once you create a draft, you cannot delete it. That is something to keep in mind. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it's good to know. So let's just go into here. We're gonna go ahead and delete everything and see that I was working on the matching game, but let's just start completely all over and hit delete. Over here on the right, we see that the paste sign is blowing up, so we can hit paste. And now we got that big object from before. Put it down here, move it over there, maybe rotate it a little bit like that. Okay. Right now, I only know how to match a total of 8 objects. There is a way to do more. That's gonna take me a couple weeks to figure out, so we're doing this for today. First thing we need animal. Go to asset, type in animal. We only have 8, so let's pick the 8 coolest. My hope is that if you want, you should be able to create a matching game as well after watching this video. We got a sheep, I like the pig, I like the elephant. Oh, everybody likes elephants, right? I like the cow. Quirky cow. I like the quirky cat. I like the quirky wolf. 2, 4, 6, so we can get 2 more. I like this buffalo. Did I get the cow? I did get the cow. Cool. Try to pick ones that don't look too similar to other animals. Like maybe the buffalo and the donkey are a little bit too similar. Grab the cheetah. It's easier to match animals that look completely different. I kind of like this camera angle a little bit better, so I think I'm going to move everything around. So let's move this back. Make sure all the animals are just not floating in the air. We hit play right now. You can see this is not the camera view we want, and we can't move any of the animals. So let's go back. First thing we do camera. Let's do set camera view. So now this is the camera view. Check that. That looks good. The first thing we want to do is add the ability to drag and hold all of the animals. We want add-ons. Yeah, move up, and then let's grab, where is it? Drag and hover. So let's grab this. So we're actually going to put this into all of the objects, and we're even going to duplicate the objects because we want each animal to have a separate pair. Let's go ahead and copy. Let's set the other animals to the right, keep them separate, and then we can organize it better once we make some moves. Now we have 16 animals, and all of them need a drag and hold. We only have one container. This is called a container. This is an add-on container, and you can change it to a container, an instance, or an add-on. And these will come into play later down the line, the more we learn about HypeHype. But first, let's get 16 of these. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And we're just gonna drag these into the animals like this. You can see how the arrows are pointing. Let's move this back a little bit. And so we got the sheep, cheetah, I think it's a blue fox. You can check, you select the animal, you can see that there is no information over here. It doesn't say anything. And now when we grab this and we move it into the blue fox, we can see the drag and hover. It's set to no physics. It should be dynamic object, but let's test it. See if we're able to pick up the object. Objects are categorized as no physics, but I think that the container helped give them physics. Next, let's go ahead and move all the animals into the portrait view. And I just want to make sure that I don't put 2 like animals next to each other. Otherwise, don't put that there, put that there. Elephant back here, and I think that's good. Yep, everything looks good. And I just want to pick up all the animals, make sure they're all. So they do fly into the air, which can be dangerous, but right now we are just testing. Now we have their drag and hover. The next thing we want to do is actually add particles to all the animals. Once they explode and disappear, we want to have particles. To do that, we just go to advanced and we select the object, go over here and we hit particles. First changes we're going to do is make it execute, turn it off, otherwise it's automatically on. And we want to change it to confetti blast. That just looks like a confetti blowing up. Now we're going to do that to all of the other animals. We have to do a couple things before we can activate the particle effects, but I just like to have the particle effects ready because it looks cool when it's ready to go. Tap object, find particle, select it, go into it. This menu over here, you can tap the items and they will open or close. It's very user friendly like that. Execute off, and we want confetti explosion. Swipe around, particle effect, tap to open, execute off. Oh, that looks cool. I messed something up with the confetti explosion when I was modifying it, and there's less blue now, and I'm very bummed about that because I really like the color blue. It's like one of my favorite colors. Once I figure more about HypeHype, I'll be able to get it back. Did you notice that? This one has a physics object, whereas in the other ones don't, and that is because I added this. So if I do no physics, and then it's gone. Okay, cool. It's important to pay attention to all the little pieces. While I may not know what's going on, or you may not know what's going on, that's okay. It's totally okay to not know what's going on, but it is important to try to pay attention so that when you see something again, you can begin to recognize patterns. And then that's really where what you learn begins to take off. You see certain patterns, you know something's going to do something, and you're able to anticipate and or create certain effects that you're going for. Particles are all set up in all of the animals. Now we just need to add logic pieces, and we need to destroy, because objects are going to get destroyed. Move that up here. We're going to need collision triggers in all of the objects, but we can do that from over here. So let's go in here and we're going to add collision trigger. There we go, collision trigger. This one is a sheep, and we have 10 colors, but I don't believe these two work. The one on the very left, that's important to know. There is the collision trigger color group, and then there is the object group. I think these things may or may not be the same. The way you can use them is a little bit sophisticated in terms of you have multiple objects that are supposed to go into a certain spot, like let's say a orange hole, and you have 12 orange objects, then something like this would work. But we're just doing a one-on-one matching here, so we're going to keep it simple. So the sheep is going to be orange, and the collision trigger will also be orange. And so let's go to the sheep and add collision trigger and do orange and orange. And we're going to do this for all of the objects so that they are consistent. This is important. Like, it's a little bit tedious, but without it, we won't be able to match and make the object go boop. Oh, and we need to add a collision trigger. Collision trigger does the heavy lifting here. Now let's take a look at all of these, make sure that they have collision trigger. Now that we have them, we can select each of the animals, go to collision trigger, and we want on collision start, and then we move it over to this destroy node. Oops. And then we do on collision trigger, target, execute. So what that means is when this object comes into contact with the other object, it should destroy that said object. So let's test it out. So picking up this should destroy that one. Yep. And it does not destroy this elephant, but that's okay. We're going to do that right now, where we do basically just the same thing. Select here on collision start, move it over here, on collision target, and then target. So now each one targets the other elephant and they both get destroyed. And we are going to do that for all of them now. Cool, that looks good. So we should be able to test and everything should work. Okay, so we got one pig not working. So that must be a missed collision group on the pig side. Let's take a look. Yep, see right there, there it is. So now that should work. Next thing I want to do is add the particle effect. So to do that is we select the animal, collision trigger, and then we go on collision over the animal. Okay, on collision start, particle effect, execute. Let's try that now. Perfect. We're going to do that with all of the animals. Collision trigger, on collision, particle effect, execute, on. Oh, that one's good. That one's good. Cool. I think this is the last one. Another cool thing to do is if we go into world, particle effect, confetti blast, we can actually manipulate this. See, there's not as much blue. I don't know why. We can manipulate these for more particles. Doesn't look like there's more particles. Emission value more. See, see, now there's no blue. Oh, okay, so lower number means more. Let's do lower. Particle age. I think that matters. Okay, let's go to yellow. Emission. Let's do it. Cool. I like the way that looks, so let's test it now. Like, there might be too much confetti. Okay. There is too much confetti. I'll admit that. That will reduce the confetti amount. Just sometimes it's good 2 steps forward and 1 step back. We go back to world, particle effect, confetti, emission. I think this should be 10. Why don't we just... Still might be too much, but I think we're good. Let's test it. Yeah, that's still a lot, but that's okay. You know what I also forgot? We want sound. So let's go here, sound, and we want like a pop. Grab that, move it up here. Every time there is a collision, execute. Let's test it to make sure. Yep. This is straightforward. Every time the collision is triggered, we will hear a pop sound, and we will also have a particle effect, and then the objects will get destroyed. Let's go ahead and save it. And save as draft. Be sure to follow me on HypeHype. I am HypeC. Let's also go ahead and do thumbnail. Turn on the logic pieces. So next we're going to need game over. We need to hit the plus sign over here. There we go. This is not what we want. That was a container. We don't want a container. We want the actual game end. This is what we want. The container might be useful. I just haven't used that yet. If you've used that, let me know what you think. So we got this, and next we need a compare, which is also a logic piece. Compare, okay. And we're gonna want equal, b value of 8, 16 objects, okay. And now we're gonna go into the object, go to advanced collision trigger. On the collision, we drag this and to a value A, and we're gonna add 1. We got 1 elephant, and that's gonna add 1 to the value counter. Do the same thing for the pig. Add 1, and we were only doing 1 of each animal instead of every animal. Value add. Okay, so now once we go here, we go if output equals true, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If that happens, then we go to end. We execute. Go here to make sure. Now we want to type success. Show end screen. Wait 1 second. We need to select the compare and then hit play, and then we'll see a debug while we're playing, which is what we want. Alright, I'm just testing this again. Oh, you see there something with the sheep, so we're gonna check the sheep. And the cat doesn't seem to be working, so let's check the sheep. Okay, so that should be add. And check the cat. That should also be add. We need to select the compare node, and then there's the value. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so something's up with the cow. It looks like we just have, wait, cow or water buffalo? Cow, I said cow. Not that cow, but this cow. Yep, there we go. It should be set to add, and that's one final check. You gotta put that confetti down, it's way too much. Cool, that's great. I wanted to do one more thing with a score system. Let me save this first. Remember I mentioned at the very beginning you can copy and paste from hypes that you like, which includes objects. It includes a lot of different things. But what I'm gonna grab here is in this hype, and it's specifically the scoring system, which is this. I want this. So I'm gonna hold down. I got the objects copied. I'm gonna go into our hype, hit edit, the logic thing, and hit paste. Move it down, over. Okay, how this works is that this is the timer, and we'll put that at the bottom. So it's set up via the compare, if active. So if goes true, then turn off the leaderboard and enter into the leaderboard. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, let's do that. So if compare equals true, and we want to execute and turn on the leaderboard, and we want to stop the timer. The timer should already be going. Executing off. Okay, and let's take a look. Here we can see that it begins at the very start, so let's test it now. Need to bring down that confetti explosion. It's just too much. Okay, and we are done. This is the first Hype simple matching game. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna turn down that confetti while I'm here, but overall, very simple. I enjoyed it. This actually took me a while to learn. I like to take my time, and there is no rush. When you are learning something new, you must always remember that you're learning something new. I think we all expect to just know everything instantly, and eventually you will learn that that will never be the case, and to have that kind of mindset will slow you down. Being willing to make mistakes and make moves and learn along the way will take you so much further than being hard on yourself and expecting you to already know everything. Oh, you know what I wanted to do? I wanted to add a fence. And this is a cool asset. Oh, there we go. This is actually a tile map, which means we can draw it. I'm going to show you what that means right now. Here, okay, so we can actually go into paint and hit erase. So we're going to erase this, and then we're going to paint here. It'll be like this. Look at that, and then we're done. Move it back up a little bit closer. Get that angle. Okay, camera set. Camera, make thumbnail. One last thing we should do, is pretty easy, is we want to add music. Hyper casual games do well with something called chiptune. I don't know if they have it in the library. Here's one. Maybe Arcade Hall. This is nice. I like this. Let's go with First Adventure. And I think it just works, so let's find out. Cool, so let's save it, and now we have music. So that's making a game with HypeHype. You can make a game with iPad, mobile phone, or on a web browser. I'm telling you, it's a revolutionary new app. Being able to make games and play games on the go blows my mind. And if you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. And I plan on making more games and hypes. I'll be spending every day in HypeHype trying to get to know the app better. Until next time, stay safe. Peace.